from KXAN News.
Yo, you gotta go. You gotta go. Come on. It's too late. It's too much. You gotta go.
We're following breaking news tonight in Cedar Park. An apartment building destroyed, multiple buildings damaged, and a number of evacuations there tonight. And that's where crews are working to contain a massive fire. Now, this comes just hours after we saw another fire force people out of their homes in Kyle. Take a look at some video. This was sent to us by Mateo Orozco. And fire on people's lawns in a nearby neighborhood is what this video shows.
Here's a closer look at where this is all happening. This is near West Palmer Lane and East Whitestone Boulevard. Cedar Park officials say they've asked everyone from the Bexley Silverado apartment complex, also the Whitestone Landing neighborhood and surrounding businesses to evacuate. They say over 200 first responders are out there helping with this fire. We do have team coverage on the developments. KXAN's Brianna Hollis and Grace Reeder are both in Cedar Park. Let's start with Brianna, who was there as officials gave a briefing on the latest developments. Bree.
Well, Daniel, as you mentioned, 200 first responders are still out here fighting this fire, and the fire chief says the first crews were able to get here within 1 minute. As you mentioned, one building is a total loss at this point and at least 2 others damaged. Let's go ahead and take a look now at some video shot earlier this evening by photojournalist Jake Sykes, where you could see people racing across Palmer Lane with their suitcases as they were evacuated. And the fire chief just told us that the highest flame was 60 feet in the air. As crews continue to battle this fire, they're asking community members out here to take care of each other.
I'd also encourage all of our citizens here in Williamson County. We have neighbors that are in need. And if you can step up tonight and you know of someone that's been displaced, let's do what we do in Williamson County the best. Let's bring them in, let's welcome them, and let's take care of them tonight.
And fire officials are also asking people not to get too close to where crews are working. They said that was an issue earlier this afternoon, and it's inhibiting their ability to put the flames out as quickly as they can. Jen, Daniel.
All right, Bree, you've been out there all night. You've been speaking to people out there who are worried about losing their homes.
Yeah, so on this side of the street across from where all of the action is, I'm looking at dozens of people just standing, looking at all the first responders, watching the smoke still billowing out over the building. And I did speak with somebody earlier who says his wife raced out of the house with their 2 dogs.
Basically just kind of worried about our house, you know, the most important stuff. It's our whole life there, so. But luckily my wife got out safe and sound, so that's all that really matters.
And we're also around a bunch of shopping centers over here. And earlier this evening, we also saw employees with HEB walking around, checking on people, making sure they were okay, and handing out water bottles, guys.
All right, Brianna Hollis, thank you very much. Let's get to KXAN's Grace Reeder, also tracking the developments out there. Grace, what are you seeing from your vantage point?
Well, as you see the orange flames behind me, I also want to note that heartwarmingly behind the camera here, there are strangers who are asking other people, what is your name? Do you have a place to stay? Do you want to sleep on my couch? So even though this is a very difficult situation, people behind here are standing up and meeting people, being kind. I'm going to step out so that you can see what this looks like right now. One thing that is not going to help firefighters out here is this wind. It has picked up since I got here just a little bit before 9, but one of the good things that we are seeing is that about 30 minutes ago, this orange blaze that you were seeing behind the building was much higher. We were seeing flames, sparks even. It does appear that that has come down just a little bit, and I can see a fire hose behind that, a fire ladder rather, behind that building. Again, though, the wind is not helping. These embers are blowing. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of fire units still showing up every couple of minutes. Leander, Austin, Pflugerville, fire departments from all over Central Texas, 200 of them, in fact, showing up to help with this scene, and you can hear the wind there. That is giving them a difficult time. I also want to note that traffic in this area is really bad. There are roads that are shut down in miles in each direction. It took me about 45 minutes to get here from Austin because, you know, Palmer is shut down. There are many roads shut down in this area as law enforcement and fire work to keep you out of the area. And Andy, if you could flip around here and show some of these people who are sitting here trying to figure figure out what has happened to their apartments, to their homes, many of them coming up to us and asking, am I allowed back inside? What's happening? Have you heard anything? I talked to one woman earlier today who rushed here, who has family and friends here. If we could pull that bite up, please.
Stress. Everybody over here, I've seen people crying, freaking out. I've seen families running out of the buildings. It's scary.
That is one of the things that we are hearing from people, that there were sparks. They saw sparks. They saw something land in their yard. They took everything that they had and they took off. I've seen people run across the street here with dogs. We've seen people with kids. There are folks who have their belongings with them on this side of the street. But again, it's so kind to see neighbors and strangers here asking each other if there is anything that they can do to help. Of course, we will continue to keep you updated on the scene over at KXAN.com and here live, guys.
All right, Grace Reeder live for us tonight. Thanks so much. We do have some evacuation information if you are impacted by this fire. Cedar Park officials say the American Red Cross has a tent set up. This is at the Walmart parking lot. This is on 2801 East Whitestone Boulevard. That's in Cedar Park. So just head there if you need any assistance from this fire tonight.